am back. Rudrance for Black and White Network. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. Yes, I am back in the Rhodes Bat Cave. Electricity was restored. You guys don't know this unless you watched Black and White Sports 2 video from yesterday or a Matrix and Roadshow video, but we got slammed by a massive, brutal line of 90-mile-an-hour straight-line winds that hit rural and very heavily forested East Texas on Thursday night into Friday morning that caused utter and complete devastation in my area. It looks like a hot-ass mess around here. There are more power lines and more trees twisted into each other than I could have possibly imagined. We've dodged a lot of bad weather over the years, but this one got us. And shockingly, the electricity is back home. I was only off-site for one day, and now I'm back. So that's awesome. And we're back to regularly scheduled programming. And happy Father's Day from Black and White Nation to all the fathers out there. All the biological male dads out there that are fathers. Happy Father's Day. So let's talk about Bud Light because we got a little info from a guy that worked 10 years for the company that believes that Anheuser-Busch may have made a calculated decision here as a way to no longer pay employees what the original Anheuser-Busch, which was American-owned before a European company bought them. Anheuser-Busch, the original Anheuser-Busch, was very good to their employees, okay? It was American-owned. They paid very well. The benefits were really good, yada, yada, yada. Well, the guy's got a theory, and he was on with Tommy Lahren about the fact that he thinks, and a lot of people evidently think this, involved with beer distributorships behind the scenes, and we got a story about that as well, because now Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, obviously, are having to back-fund beer distributors in order to keep them afloat. This has been a nightmare for the people below corporate level. Now, look, the boycotts are absolutely justified. They're not going away, and I don't believe they will ever stop, and they shouldn't stop. But there are people like the distributors and like the employees on the ground floor level. Boy, you better be sending out resumes because I don't think it's going to get any better. Evidently, some employees have already been laid off. And, of course, I did that video that went viral about the merchandiser, the beer merchandiser, the beer distributor that was in the store showing off the fact that Budweiser, Bud Light shelves were completely stocked and anything related to it was stocked up while everything else was sold. Yeah, it's been bad. And this is go time for Anheuser-Busch. July 4th is the number one day in the beer industry. It is their Christmas day. It is their Thanksgiving. It is their let's go, get ready. It's the number one day that rednecks and Americans get drunk off their ass around the country. And there's normally a shit ton of overtime. Everybody in grocery stores works overtime. And all the merchandisers, Coke, any kind of beer, all of that, they work overtime. Except Bud Light. Not this year. And that tells you how bad it has tanked so much. It looks like there won't even be July 4th overtime or any of that. So let's get to this. Former Anheuser-Busch employee who said he worked for the company for 10 years before being laid off in recent weeks told conservative commentator Tommy Lahren in an interview that he believes the downfall may have been orchestrated. I will say this. I think there may be certain factions that are on leave of absences right now that did want to reboot the look and feel of Anheuser-Busch on the inside. And that's not a good thing. Okay? You need these pro-American employees running what's supposed to have been a pro-American company. It's too late now. You done messed up. Speaking anonymously with Lahren's Outkick.com show, the former employee said he had previously worked for the company in Houston where, quote, everybody was upset with the Mulvaney collaboration, including management. Nobody's happy about it, said the unnamed man. Everybody thinks it was a very bad idea. Obviously, you know, it's sales and everything shows that. So, I mean, they expressed the fact that they were shocked. Why would they do this? What were they thinking, especially now? It's like the worst time, yet the best timing, if a company were trying to change the way it operates from a corporate level. That's just my opinion. Many of us are talking about that, like they planned it that way, that it was a strategic destruction of Bud Light. It seems like an awfully, the lack of self-awareness from Anheuser-Busch on this issue prior to letting it happen is astonishing. It truly is. The employee went on to say that since the company was acquired by Belgian brewer InBev in 2008, several years before the employee joined the company, the new owners wanted to change the working culture. That's basically like saying we wanted new employees. We wanted different kinds of employees. My God. When the company was bought by InBev, a lot of things changed. You know, it's an American brand that pays extremely well with benefits and things of that nature. When InBev took over, they didn't like that. So they've been trying to get rid of many benefits of working for an American company like Anheuser-Busch, and they just can't because we have a strong union. The employees speculated that Bud Light had been experiencing deteriorating sales numbers for many years, prompting executives to say, let's put this nail in a coffin, and now we have a lot of layoffs and a lot of loss of production. He continued, it's easy for the company to restructure. Let's say pay our contracts we have coming up in a way where, well, we don't have the business anymore, so we're forced to change these things. And that's kind of what everybody feels like. It's too obvious that they would just mistakenly do this and not expect these repercussions. I mean, anybody could tell you what was going to happen. The former employee went on to say that things are so bad that there is no overtime work available for the upcoming 4th of July holiday, despite it being the company's busiest time for business. He also said laid off workers are hoping to eventually return to the company once sales ramp up again. Ramp up again? Good luck. Which is the hope, because nobody wants to lose your job. I mean, I agree with the boycotts because I have children and see what's happening, but we suffer because we have veterans that work there, American citizens, our neighbors. We're losing jobs, so it's a double-edged sword. Wow. I mean, so, again, they're cutting out overtime for their busiest go time of the year. And I worked 5 years from the time I was 16 till I was 22 for a local grocery company here. And, yeah, 4th of July, beer merchandisers, whoa, it is go time. People stay on site at these large grocery stores. They just stay there. The merchandiser doesn't leave all day just so he can keep putting beer out during 4th of July, in and around those 3 or 4 days, including the actual holiday. Anheuser-Busch is opening its wallet to help Bud Light distributors as their brand falls apart. The once popular light beer has been getting destroyed ever since its idiotic March Madness promo collaboration with Dylan Mulvaney. Sales are down, AB's stock price is getting crushed, and CEO Brendan Whitworth is planning a tour across America to save a brand. Good luck. That's laughable. Now, Anheuser-Busch is also writing checks to Bud Light distributors losing business. According to Beer Business Daily, some distributors will be paid 20 cents to 50 cents per case, depending on how bad sales have fallen, according to a report. Anheuser-Busch will also pick up the tab for any fuel and any freight surcharges. The decision from AB comes as Bud Light sales are down roughly 25% year over year, and the beer is no longer the top beer in America. The number one spot is now being held by Modelo. Imagine telling someone 3 months ago Bud Light would come crashing down and fall from the top spot in an embarrassing and humiliating fashion. Nobody would have believed you, yet that's exactly what happened. Dylan Mulvaney's disaster is an all-time example of why going woke is never a good idea. Bad news for AB and BL. There is no end in sight. The backlash has been unrelenting for more than 2.5 months. Generally speaking, outrage and backlash last a couple of days at most. Then everyone moves on. Not this time. People had enough of the woke nonsense. Bud Light pushed things way too far by teaming up with Dylan Mulvaney. Now the company and AB are feeling the pain. Wow. So, and look, I don't see them recovering. I truly don't. I mean, I don't know how they could, outside of some weird, if they can pull out a way to completely rebrand the product. You know, I mean, I don't know what you do. You know, if you're that company or you're any of their beers under that umbrella, some of these other side brands that this same company makes, they haven't dropped off as much. But the reason that is because people don't realize that they're manufactured and owned by Anheuser-Busch. So many people don't know Michelob Ultra is an Anheuser-Busch product. And it's a really good selling beer, generally speaking. But even those beer percentages are down. The people that have figured that out, they quit buying those brands too. It's a total mess. I don't know that I necessarily buy the idea that they intentionally sabotage this, but I will say this. Are all companies right now, it seems like, except for pro-American conservative-owned companies, are they all much too caught up in ESG and DEI scores? Way too caught up. I mean, those scores do not have an inkling or a handle on Middle America, the southern parts of America, the Bible Belt, and as proven by this, they have greatly underestimated that moneymaker, which is nuts. You're talking about hardworking Americans. They didn't think that beer in the Midwest and in south parts of America, in the Bible Belt, wasn't a massive thing. It was a horrible idea. A horrible idea. Now, we do know this, though. The lady that was involved with doing this, who is now on an extended leave of absence, and I think everybody knows that kind of means don't ever come back, that put this Dylan Mulvaney thing together, she did say we were trying to completely change the image of the customer base. Interesting. So you tried to make that change, and in turn you gave a double middle finger to your core demographic. Not a great business move. It's not. But it's amazing how many of these companies are wrapping their arms around those scores. By the way, Soros laying in the weeds on that. It's unbelievable. It truly is. So I don't know if I necessarily agree that it was a calculated decision, although I do find it interesting that once the company was bought, the company had a massive issue with how well the American employees were taken care of. Maybe you shouldn't have bought the company. I mean, it's funny how companies don't go, we're buying that company because we love the company and we think it's run so well, but let's take the people that run it so well and get rid of them. That's not how shit works. Once you get rid of the good people and you bring subpar people in, a.k.a. the lady that had this collaboration done, shit starts going bad. God, it's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. I mean, so much common sense goes out the window when it comes to these products. Target, Anheuser-Busch, Cracker Barrel. So much common sense goes out the window with these companies. It's crazy. Take a step back and read the room, for crying out loud, when you step into it. Peace, I'm out. Look at your demographic. They're looking at ESG. They're looking at DEI. And they've officially decided to ignore customer demographic. Customer sales demographic. Peace, I'm out. Till next time.